Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are building my first shrimp tank. Yeah, very excited. I haven't worked with shrimp much in the past, and I am really hyped up to build a tank for them. All right, guys, real quick. I got this bucket, this barrel here, for about $12 on Walmart's website. And we built another one of these recently. I call it the Guppy Paradise here on the left. The guppies are happy. We've grown quite a bit of hornwort in here. All three guppies are still alive. I know you guys were skeptical, but it's a great aquarium actually, and I'm blown away. I love it so much. So I got another container. I got a couple of these actually, but I got this one here on the right, and they come with a nice lid. It turns out the ones with the white plastic items were quite a bit cheaper than the ones with the red. So yeah, keep that in mind. Always check color options. And I'm going to use a bubble disc in here. I'm not going to have a sponge filter. I got this for pretty cheap on Amazon. And the idea is that it will sit flat in the middle of the aquarium. Yeah, I want it to have a nice bubble cylinder going up in the middle, something like that. And I'm going to use some scallop shells as well. I believe these are scallop shells. I got them for pretty cheap on Amazon. Yeah, overall our total cost here was about 30 bucks. And I've drilled some holes in these shells. We're going to run the hornwort through those holes and hopefully use them as a weight. They also came in a pretty cool little container that will turn into a jar aquarium one day. So let's get started with our build. Now, first of all, I'm running a fill test. I want to make sure this nozzle isn't leaking or anything. Yeah, it works fine. It's perfect. It's a very quick way to change water or take samples from the substrate, though I might not be able to use the nozzle much in this tank if we have shrimp in here. Dwarf shrimp will get sucked into that little nozzle, so we probably won't make much use of it in this build. Still, I like the barrel style tank and the low budget. You know, it's a very cheap project to set up. I'm very happy with that. Now, don't get me wrong, a $300 setup is beautiful and amazing, and you can do all sorts of wonderful things. But with a $30 setup, you can do pretty good too. You know, it's all about having fun. That's what I think, and just making sure that your pets and animals can survive in a safe and healthy environment. But it is nice to save a buck. You know, I can build 10 of these for the cost of one very fancy aquarium, and I think that's pretty cool. So I've added a couple more gallons of water. I don't want to add too much because we're going to be putting other things into this tank, and it will displace quite a bit of water and raise the surface level. So we're going to take some hornwort out of the Guppy Paradise. I know you guys were skeptical, but my aquariums are nutrient dense with all of these worms and snails inside. That is in the lower portion of the Guppy Paradise. So the hornwort loves our water, loves my water conditions. Um, yeah, I'm still learning about hornwort. I'm very new to it, but I love it so far. Every time I find something that works really well, I'm like, oh, this is my new favorite plant. But for real, hornwort is my new favorite plant. And I'm just threading the stems right through the holes that I drilled in these shells. And I didn't need any tools or anything, just a screwdriver and a little patience. You can whittle a little hole through a shell. I'm hoping that these shells will kind of act like our marble does and release a little bit of calcium into the water as needed. So I've added a bunch of hornwort, just threading it right through the shell, nothing crazy. I don't want to damage the plant, but I do hope that these shells can weigh it down. And here's a look from on top of the Guppy Paradise. There's a lot of hornwort in here. I have to pull some out. I just have to. It's cool. It's been running for a while now, and we're just growing tons of plants. Look at this. All one stem. What is that, 3.5 feet, maybe 4 feet of hornwort growing out of a 5-gallon aquarium with a few guppies in it. And of course all of our microfauna. But that's really cool. I know you guys have told me a little bit about hornwort. I've learned some things, but it's doing really well. And here I'm dunking it in the new tank just because snails will fall off of here. It's loaded with baby snails and detritus worms and stuff. And as I thread it through these shells, it would, you know, scrape the little snail off of there. So I don't want to do that. So dunking it helps. But there we go. Hopefully these little shells will work for what I want, but it might change. It might turn into something completely different. That tends to happen with my builds. But I'm happy, you know, as long as the life inside is able to do well. Now, I know what you're saying. That's way too clean to be a bucket pond style live aquarium, a nature aquarium, and that's true. So I'm going to add some green water, some tannins, some leaves and things, a lot of material from the bag of bugs that we got from Tony, as well as another very well established jar aquarium. And yeah, we're going to grow some green water in here. And I'm hoping that all of these tannins and these different elements that I'm adding will help to ensure the long lives of our future shrimp friends. Yeah, I'm very excited. But you guys have been asking a lot about green water, so I'll make some more videos about that as well. And I know you're thinking like, wow, you ruined this tank, but trust me, this is how I do things. You know, we're adding all of the microfauna, the scuds and detritus worms, and our seed shrimp and our paramecium and our copepods and blah, 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 blah. We're adding all of these guys into this build to help start up the ecosystem. And so I let this tank run for about 20 days. And so long, in fact, I want to go ahead and cut this video in half. This is part one. I'll have part two up right behind it, where we actually add the shrimp. We check on all the life inside, see how things have developed, and make some modifications. I'm also adding least killifish in here from our buddy Clay Wise. Thank you, Clay. Clay has a channel that he's doing, you know, just for fun, but you should go check it out. It's Wise Fish Keeping. Great name. But yeah, guys, don't hate me for cutting this in half. I waited 20 days between setup and actually adding the shrimp and stuff. And I noticed that a lot of our watch time, you know, a lot of people don't watch the very long videos. So I'm hoping that maybe you'll enjoy this shorter, snappier content. You know, you can watch part one and come back and watch part two on your lunch break, something like that. It should be popping up right now as a suggested video on your screen. At least I hope so. But yeah, guys, I'll have part two up right behind this one. This is BucketPonds. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in just a moment.